Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you a simple recipe. Food. Everybody loves food, and who doesn't love good food? But during these lockdown times, one cannot go out to eat food. One would like to make a lot of food at home, but is always in a question that what should be cooked. Good food lifts the spirits, makes you happy, and also gives your body joy, as well as lifts the mood of the house. The whole household is lifted. Today I'm going to make an apple crumble. Apple crumble can be made with any other fruit like pears or peaches. Uh, especially for these COVID times, these apples have been soaked in soda bicarb water for a few minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, washed, left to drain the whole of the night, and then cleaned again before using them. Please do that with all the fruits and vegetables. I'm sure you know that it is important. Ingredients: 3 to 4 apples, white sugar. Normally I use brown sugar, but since it's difficult to get it at present, so I have used white sugar. You could also substitute it with stevia if you want to use a sugar free sweetener. This is olive oil. You could use any vegetable oil or even butter. Whole wheat flour, oats, spices like cinnamon sticks and nutmeg. The ingredients are very simple, and the recipe also is very simple. So let's start with the recipe. We need a tin in which we are going to bake the apple crumble. I'm going to peel and cut my apple. Kindly cut it in thin slices, taking out the pith and the core. Set in, grease it well, and lightly dust it with flour. Now we're going to put layers of the apple. Now I've layered the apple nicely, tightly packed, no empty spaces. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of sugar. If you're using stevia, you just need a pinch of the stevia sprinkled on all the apples. You'll take the nutmeg and grate it over the apple, as well as put a little bit of cinnamon, tiny pieces of cinnamon on it. The next layer of apple also can be made after this. You could also use nutmeg or cinnamon powder if you have it. Otherwise, you could use the whole pieces. Now, after we have put the nutmeg and cinnamon and sprinkled with little sugar or stevia, we'll layer it with another row of apple slices and repeat the same. We have layered 3 layers of apples. On every layer, we have sprinkled it with a little bit of sugar and grated nutmeg and cinnamon. Now we're going to prepare the crumble. Before that, we are going to preheat the oven at 180 degrees for 10 minutes. Now, 1 cup of flour, you could take any cup measure that you have. It need not be heaped. To that, we add a 1/4 cup of oats. The oats give a crunchy taste. We take a 1/4 cup of oil. And we are going to work in the oil into the wheat flour and oats, pouring a little at a time, using the fingertips to make like you do for a short crust pastry. That did not have to use all the oil. and my flour is crumbly like breadcrumbs. I'm going to take sugar. I'm going to take half a cup of sugar. You can use less or more according to the sweetness that you like. I may not use all of it. So half cup of sugar was used, and now my crumble is ready to go on top of the apple. Now I'm going to press down the crumble on this. I've used all the crumble. It has gone in and I've tightly packed it in over the apples. I'm going to use a little bit of oil to brush on the top so that doesn't dry out. And a little bit of nutmeg. The oven has been preheated and my crumble is ready to go into the oven. I'm going to put it into the oven for 30 minutes and let it bake for 30 minutes. The apple crumble is left to bake. I'd like to tell you a little bit how different the apple pie is from the apple crumble. The apple pie is a very elaborate dish and it is not so easy to make. Secondly, you consume a lot of flour in it and less of the apples. Here you are using very little flour, so it's a healthier option. The sugar content in that is also much more. Crumble is going to take 30 minutes to bake. So then I'll see you later after 30 minutes. 30 minutes have been completed. Let's check if the apple crumble is ready. We'll insert a toothpick just to see whether it reaches down into the apple and it's cooked. We'll take out the crumble and leave it to cool for another 10 to 15 minutes. Now we have allowed the crumble to cool for about 15 minutes and we can cut it. It should not be cut before because a hot crumble will actually break up if you cut it before. I'm going to cut it into slices. Wow, the smell is so delicious. It really reminds me of the times and days when I lived in the Himalayas in Dalhousie. How the smells used to fill the house and bring warmth to the cold winter nights. It's delicious. Since it has less fat content, so you could easily eat it. I'm going to try to take out a piece of this from the bottom. Wow, it really smells yummy. It can be eaten just by itself, or it can be served with vanilla ice cream or whipped cream, and it tastes delicious. This is really delicious. Though apple crumble is a dessert, it is still a nutritious dessert. It has multivitamins and multiminerals and high fiber. So I think once in a way to eat it, it's good. I'm sure this simple recipe of the apple crumble will bring joy to the table for your whole family. In these difficult times, let us promote and make healthy recipes at home from scratch. I hope you enjoy making this and I hope you enjoy eating it too. So have a good time eating this apple crumble. Thank you.